Hey there guys, it's Tina and I'm back. And I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. If you're also back, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'm glad you're here. But if you're new and maybe you like what you see, please consider subscribing. We have tons of fun here on this channel talking about makeup and all things beauty. And I'm gonna need you to get into this look right now, okay? What? Okay, excuse me. I am definitely giving you the autumn vibes. Like, this is all about fall feels, okay? Get into this. I pulled out my deep chocolatey lip, which is one of my favorite colors to wear during the fall and winter seasons. Like, what? I'll wear it any time of the year, to be honest. Any season, I'll pull out a dark brown lip because I love this look. But I pulled out a little faux turtleneck, you know, it's short sleeve because I'm in Florida and it's 80+ degrees outside, so it's not cold at all. But I'm trying to channel, okay, my northeast vibes and get into the spirit of fall, okay? Why not? I'm definitely giving you also a sophisticated vibe, like, this is my grown woman-ish, like, what? Anyway, today we are playing in my TropiCOLOR palette, which I have over here. Oh my goodness. I have two of them. I'm like, okay. We are playing with my TropiCOLOR palette with Sydney Grace Cosmetics. If you haven't picked this up yet, what are you waiting for? I will link it down below as well as my discount code for you to get 15% off. Yes, you can get a discount on this. So if you haven't picked it up yet and you're still eyeing it, go ahead and grab it now. Grab it for a friend, grab it for a gift. I don't know, I'm just saying. But we're playing with this palette today. I saw someone rearrange the color story and I was inspired to do the same with you guys. I wanted to play with my palette. I wanted to move the shades around, rearrange them to give you a different vibe. You can see right here that it looks different because I rearranged it. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. We're gonna play with color stories. We're gonna rearrange the palette. I'm going to give you swatches, show you shades together, show you different color combinations that could be really great for you guys to try out. And I'm also going to show you how to get this fall inspired neutral look. This is a look, like, get into it, okay? I think this look would be flattering on anyone. It's a simple look to achieve. It's a really easy look. It's very subtle as well. It's not too intense. There's a pop of color, but it's not too in your face. And it's just really beautiful. So I'm going to share with you how I accomplished this look as well. So if that sounds interesting to you, then stay tuned and I will talk to you soon. So here is my baby in her original form and all her glory. Isn't she beautiful? I wanted to make sure you saw the original color story before we start deconstructing. So let's go ahead and get all these shadows out of the palette. All right, so here we have all the shades depotted from the palette. I'm going to go ahead and organize them by finish. So we're going to split them up by mattes and shimmers, and I will also organize them in a gradient from lightest to darkest. So here we have the mattes and the shimmers separated. I have the mattes in the first row and second row, followed by all the shimmers, again arranged in a gradient, and I will show you them swatched out. Here are all the matte shades swatched out. Here are all the shimmers swatched out. And now here are all the shades swatched out together with the mattes and shimmers in a gradient from lightest to deepest. All right, now I want to go ahead and organize these kind of by undertones. So I'm going to put the warmer shades together, the cooler shades together, and then the neutral shades as well. So let's do that. So here we have all the shades organized by undertone. We have the cooler tone shades on one side. So if they have a blue undertone or more of a pinky undertone, they're on this side. And then the warmer shades and the neutral shades are on that side. I also tried to group them by color story. So we have the green tealy shades on one side, the blue tones, the more pinky purple hues, the neutral lean-in tones, and then the warmer, more yellow-based shades and the neutral shades as well. So let's go ahead and swatch these out. So now here are all the shades swatched out by color, theme, and gradient. And I kind of love this grouping because it gives you an idea of the shades that can go together. Like these three green tealy shades, stunning, I love them. Then we have the blues, some of the more pinky purple hues, the neutral mattes, we have some warm tone mattes, and then we have more of the neutral shades. So you can get an idea of some color story, some combination options from organizing the shades in more of a color story undertone theme. All right, now that we have the palette organized by undertones, how about we go ahead and create some color stories? Let's start out with a really simple blue look, incorporating 4 of the shades. So we have Coconut, which is the light ivory, 𝕊𝕦𝕡𝕟𝕟𝕜, which is the light sky blue, Waterfalls, which is the deep shimmery blue, and 𝕊𝕟𝕟𝕟, which is the matte dark blue shade. So here are the 4 shades swatched out. I would use Coconut on the inner corner as my pop of highlight. I would use 𝕊𝕦𝕡𝕟𝕟𝕜 as my blend-in shade in the crease line, with Waterfalls all over the lid, and then 𝕊𝕟𝕟𝕟 in the outer V for some added depth and dimension. And look how beautiful those shades are. They are absolutely stunning. You can also use 𝕊𝕦𝕟𝕟 on the inner lid, moving towards the center of the lid, with Waterfalls on the outer lid, and then again 𝕊𝕟𝕟𝕟 in the outer V, and still pop Coconut on that inner tear duct area in a more concentrated way. Let's do something with the teal and green shades. So here we have 5 shades that I would use in this color story. Starting out with Sun Rays in the crease, that's going to be our blend-in transition shade. And then I would use Palm Trees, the matte green, as our outer lid color. This is going to add the depth and dimension, add our color. Then I would use Cane Fields, the shimmery green, the true green, right next to that on the outer lid space, with Rainforest, which is more of a teal shade, on the inner lid and middle of the lid, and pop a little bit of cocoa beans to add a little depth to Palm Trees in that outer V area. And then also use Sun Rays on that inner tear duct for that added pop of color, and blend them all together for a beautiful green tropical teal look. And here you have those shades swatched out. As you can see, this would make a beautiful tropical look. And you can even skip Rainforest as a shade altogether. So block out the teal and just go with the yellow Sun Rays, Cane Fields, that bold green, Palm Trees, and then cocoa beans in a look. And here you have it. I removed the teal shade so you can get a better idea of that look. Now let's do something neutral, which is really easy to create with this palette. Here are the main neutral shades in the palette, and I'll show you which ones I would just use together. I would go with the warmer tones. So we have Rum Raisin, which is the matte tan, with Grape Nut, which is the more warm tone shimmery neutral. I would also pop in Milk River, which is an orangey shade, with cocoa beans to add a little bit of depth, and that will be a more warm tone look. You can also balance it out a bit with maroon to add that blend in the outer V and outer crease. And here is that combination of shades. Again, this would make a beautiful neutral look. You add a little bit of warmth with the maroon shade and with Milk River, that orange, to really amp it up. But if you remove the orange, like so, you can make a really beautiful smoky look as well with these shades. I would use rum raisin in the crease, grape nut all over the lid, which are two ice cream flavors that go really great together actually, and then maroon in the outer V and crease, and then again cocoa beans to add a little bit of depth. And then here is a simple neutral look. Again, we have rum raisin in the crease area, that's our blend-in shade. All over the lid we would have Hellshire instead. That one's a little bit more of a silver, oh it's so pretty, silvery taupe. And then cocoa beans mixed with rum raisin to blend out that outer V and create a little bit of depth and dimension. Now let's do something with the pinks and purples. Here is a beautiful pink and purple quad. If you're into purples, this would be a great look for you. Here are those four shades together. I would use Dr. Bird on the inner lid and tear duct with a bit of 𝕊𝕦𝕒𝕟𝕉𝕦 on the center lid. Outer lid, I would use Tropical Punch. That's such a beautiful pink. And once you blend this out, it applies kind of like a satin. And I would deepen up the look with maroon. And now let's finish up with the look that I'm going to demonstrate in this video, which is a fall inspired look. So here we have 5 shades that I would use in a look. The 4 matte shades here, which are Sun Rays, Milk River, Maroon, and Cocoa Beans, I would use as the base of multiple looks, and then I will pop in one of the shimmers as my accent shade. In this case, we have Dr. Bird, which will be on the lid. But my matte shades here, I will use to create that dimension in my crease. And I can even use these matte shades in a look by themselves. What I would do is use the yellow as my lid shade, orange as my blend and transition shade, maroon as my deepening shade, and then cocoa beans to add a little bit of depth and dimension on that outer V. So here are the shades swatched out. I would use the yellow, which is Sun Rays, and the orange, which is Milk River, in the crease. These are going to be my blend-in shades. So they're going to create the soft transition in the crease. Then I would use maroon, which is this deep red-brown, in the outer V and outer crease for some depth, and this is going to add that smokiness and dimension to the look. And I will even pop a little bit of cocoa beans for some added dimension. This is going to smoke out that outer V and outer crease. And then the star of the show would be Dr. Bird, and this shade I would apply on the center of the lid. And these are the shades that I am going to apply now for you guys in a fall inspired look. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so I'm starting off with my eyes already prepped and primed, and I'm using one of my favorite primers. It's long discontinued, so don't even ask about it, but it's my favorite sticky primer because I want the colors to really pop. And I also applied a bit of makeup tape because I want to create a really crisp outer V and outer crease. So the eyes are prepped and ready to go, and I'm going to jump right into my favorite shade to use for blend-in, which is Sun Rays. And I am just going to apply that on the outer crease area. I'm not even pulling it all the way in. I'm going to just concentrate that color right on that outer crease. And again, this is just going to be a blend-in shade. Then I'm going to grab the shade Milk River, which is the matte orange. This shade is so stunning. I'm using a number 5 brush from BH Cosmetics for this. This is a fluffy blending brush, but it is not too large where the color is gonna go everywhere. So it allows me some precision, but I'm holding the brush at the very end so I get a light wash of color. So I'm not applying too much pressure. I'm just getting a wash of that orange in that crease. Then let's grab our deepening shade, which is maroon. And I'm holding the brush a little bit further up because I want a little bit more color payoff and a little bit more depth from this shade. So I'm applying it in circular buffing motions to place the color and concentrate it right on that outer crease area. And I'm just going to continue using small buffing motions to blend that color upwards just slightly. Again, we're using a smaller blending brush that allows for some precision while still blending. So you see the maroon starts to blend with the orange that we already have down. And then I'll feather the color inwards just a little bit, not too much. I just want to make sure that I get that beautiful blend before I worry about anything else. And with the tape right here, I can blend against it, right? So I'm not creating a mess. I'm just blending, and the tape is keeping me from going over the edge. But look at that blend. Yes. What I love about this tape method is that you can really go ham with the blending to get that beautiful blur of the shades together. I'm going in with a Worker 2 brush from Sonia G now, and I'm just going to blur the edge of that color where it comes over onto the lid and fade out the edge just a bit so we don't have any harsh lines. We already have the blend on the outer V, so I don't have to worry about that. And now I'm just making sure that we have a nice blurred effect on that lid space as well. Now I'm going in with cocoa beans, and I'm grabbing a very tiny blending brush. This is a A502 brush from BK Beauty, and I'm going to use this to create a little added depth just on the very outer crease line area. So we're darkening up that outer V, but we're not pulling it too much in. I'm just adding a little bit of a smoky effect, and cocoa beans is perfect for this because it's not a black, so it's not going to overwhelm the look, but it can add depth and dimension, and it's such a rich shade. You don't need a lot, and it will blend in with that maroon, but the maroon will still pop out. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to add a little bit more of the maroon towards the lid space using that Worker 2 shader brush, and I'm pulling it in kind of at a diagonal. Again, making sure that I feather out the ends. Like so. And I'm not going to go in with the shimmer until I'm completely happy with the blend. So focus a little bit more on the blend before you go in with the shimmer, because once you go in with the shimmer, that's it, okay? So it looks really great right now, and I've concentrated all the colors so far on that outer V and outer crease area, saving the rest of the lid for a shimmer and our other work. Before we go in with the shimmer, I'm going to just set the rest of the primer with a face powder. Any face powder or eyeshadow that's close to your complexion that you use, feel free to grab that now. For me, that's just a light beige shade. And you can add this to the palette, swap it out with rum raisin or coconut. For me, I didn't want to include my specific shade in the palette. I wanted to give coconut plus rum raisin so you can mix those shades together, which you can definitely do. But I'm just going in with the least resistance right now. It's just easy for me to grab this creamy shade. The one I'm using is from Sydney Grace, and this is Mellow Yellow. I don't know if they still have this shade, but it's such a great like yellow toned ivory. I kind of wanted to include this in the palette, but it didn't make sense since they already had this in their lineup. So we just went ahead and created a custom shade for my palette. Now let's grab the pièce de résistance of this look, which is Dr. Bird. This is the shimmery kind of purpley blue pink shade. And I'm going to pick that up on my finger because that's just the best way to apply this shade. And I will dampen this finger a little bit to start out with some primer water, and I'll grab the shade, and what I'm gonna do is tap it right next to where we have that maroon shade at the base of the lash. I want this to be subtle, so I'm not putting too much, and I'm putting it at a diagonal right again at the lash line, and then tapping it towards that maroon shade. And it applies really nicely and smoothly. Again, I have a sticky base on, but I am going one step further with a damp finger. And let's see if I can show you even better on this side. So again, just tapping it right at the lash line at a diagonal and pulling it towards maroon. And I'm doing that because this is a flakier shade. So I want to use my finger to press and tap, and also dampen it so it's smoother, because it is a flakier shade and you're going to get fallout. All right, you see I have some fallout under my eyes, and I knew that was going to happen, so I always do my face makeup after, but it's really easy to clean up. It's nothing too crazy, but now you can see that beautiful sparkle to the lids. It's not too overwhelming, and I'll go back in with my brush from before and just blend a little bit so we blend out any harsh lines that the shimmer created. I'll also go back in with a little bit of the maroon shade just to blend and make sure we still have that beautiful matte outer V and crease. So we're brushing away some of that shimmer. It's so pretty, guys. I can't get over it. I love how maroon and Milk River blend together to create that beautiful gradient that is warm, because maroon is more red based. So mixing it with the orange and the yellow is gonna give you such a beautiful fall look. And then Dr. Bird just adds that extra element. It's so, so pretty. All right, so the eyes are done. Remove your tape. Ooh, it's so pretty. And you see I created that really crisp outer V, and I can go in with my makeup wipe and remove any blending that happened under my lash line. I want you guys to see that. Do you see how pretty that is? Right? Like, look at that. It's stunning. All right, let me go ahead and finish up the face, and I'll be right back. So here you have it. This is the final look, and I'm so in love. It's giving me fall, okay? Fall vibes with a TropiCOLOR palette. So you see, you can definitely pull this palette into fall, into winter, into spring, and into summer, because we have these darker warm tones that you can use to smoke out a look. You can add a pop of color when the springtime vibe hits. So here you have it. I am so in love with this look, guys. I can't get over the blend I was able to achieve. And then I paired it with a dark brown lip, which again is one of my favorite things to pop on during the fall and colder months. Come on. So let me know what you think about this look. Again, I'm so in love, and I hope you guys were able to pick up some inspiration from not only this look that I showed you at the end of the video, but also from the rearrangement of the palette. So you see, you can rearrange the palette for it to make more sense to you. You can rearrange it into color stories. You can pop in different shades that you already have from Sydney Grace or from another brand that has those round pans. So maybe you want to pop in a blend-in shade that works perfectly for your skin tone, or maybe you have a brow highlight that you can't live without, or you want to put a little bit of a different combination of shimmers in the palette. You can definitely feel free to do so, but also play around with the palette itself to see what different color combinations you can come up with, because there are tons to discover in this palette. So don't be afraid to play with the palette. Don't be afraid to play with your singles and swap them around, and definitely don't be afraid with playing with different color combinations, because makeup should be fun. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've picked my palette up, thank you so much for your support. The palette is still available, so pick it up while you can. And again, you can use my discount code TheFancyFace15 to get 15% off. And there are gonna be more looks with this palette, because I'm not done playing, okay? I've been having so much fun with this palette. I've been doing more subtle looks for you guys because I know a lot of people are afraid to play with color. So I want to give you inspiration, give you different ways you can use this palette so you can feel a little bit more comfortable, but we're gonna pump it up with some colorful looks because hello, it's a TropiCOLOR palette, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I am going to leave links to my Instagram and Twitter where you should be following me along. And until my next video, which will be very soon, I'll talk to you. Bye guys.